version of our weekly meeting. You guys are in for a treat. We're going to learn about Skyslope forms, different from just Skyslope. So Skyslope forms. So Justin Taylor is here, flew in all the way from Phoenix this morning, and he's going to be teaching us about Skyslope forms. But you know we can't get started yet until we do our on-time drawing. Linda didn't make it. All right. There's a lot of blank spaces here, so hopefully you guys think you're slick. All right, so what are we giving away today? We have $25 gift card from Amazon. Everybody brings that. We have some notepads, some pins, some folders, rock folders, real
nice.
folders.
Oh, they got different colors now.
All right. The winner is number
16, me.
16. Yes, it is. And I don't even need to move them, do I? Well, congratulations. All right. Make sure that you take pictures throughout, and then at the end, check in on Facebook at Realty One Southwest office, not the private group. So I'm ready. All right. All right, so here's our rev-up schedule coming up tomorrow, right here. So this next round is all here in the office. It's your database, is your business. I will be teaching that here from 9 to 11. Next Wednesday is Module 3, the sales cycle and effective client communication. Dennis will be here for that as the instructor. And then Module 4 is next Friday, the residential purchase agreement. Tim will be the instructor on that one. All right. Happy birthday to all of this is our August birthdays. And looking over, we have Vidi. You have a birthday coming up.
Happy birthday.
Or no,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
coming up in a couple of days. Huh? All right. I think she's the only one that's here that's on the list. So make sure that you reach out and wish them all a happy birthday. All right, every Thursday we have a food truck out in the parking lot. Way down that way, but it's walking distance. And this today is Love Me Foods. Look at that menu. They have epic corn dogs, or you can get the epic combo. Comes with fries, chicken tenders, fish and chips. All right, all good stuff. Well, maybe not healthy stuff, but good stuff. Super Summer Theater coming up the 26th of this month. Now, those that have submitted, we have purchased the tickets already, but that doesn't mean that you can't go. So you can purchase tickets yourself. If that's something you want to do, just buy the tickets and come out with us. It's so much fun. It's so cool up there. Literally, the venue's cool and the weather's cool as well. So come on out. We're going to do that August 26th. And then on September 7th is our pre-game tailgate pizza party. Who likes pizza?
Only if you make it.
Yeah.
It's homemade pizza.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Who doesn't like pizza? Because if you don't like pizza, get out of here. Anyway, so September 7th, right here, I'm bringing my pizza oven in, and we're going to make some pizzas. RSVP, because I need to know how many pizzas to do. So Thursday, September 7th, 3 o'clock right here. And then end of summer picnic we're doing September 29th at 3 o'clock at Cougar Creek Park. It is off of, Wigwam
And Cougar.
and Cougar, just a little east of Rainbow. So it's close by here. Yeah. And it's cool. We were out there last week. Really cool venue. So we'll have a good time out there. So that's, what's that? September 29th. And I think we're going to do it as a potluck, are we? Yeah. All right.
Bless you.
So that's end of summer picnic, September 29th in the afternoon.
Our family or significant others?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Bring everybody.
Okay, good.
Let's have a good time. If you have hot new listings or open houses that you want to promote, we send out an email every Friday. When I say we, I mean Stephanie sends out an email every Friday promoting the hot new listings or the open houses. If you want to be included, get the information to her. Well, hey, Jamie. Hi. What a pleasant surprise. By noon on every Thursday. All right, Pet of the Week. Ooh, so every week we do Pet of the Week. So if you have a pet and you want it to be considered, and it's a long, drawn-out voting process that we go through, if you want your pet considered for Pet of the Week, then just get that information to Stephanie. This week's, oh, you already know, don't you?
I'm ready.
This week's Pet of the Week is
Limonito.
Limonito. How old is he?
2.
He's 2. Is this a professional photo?
Yeah.
I knew it. That is really a cute dog. How big is he?
35 pounds.
What breed is it?
He's a border collie mix. He's a mutt.
Yeah, mine's not the best.
He's what?
A border collie mix.
Yeah, he's really, really cute. So if you want your pet, dog, cat, snake, bird, whatever, we're not, we don't, we'll accept that. All right, do we have anything to say prior to, we'll just say this.
Maybe one little thing.
Come on up.
I can't see your screen, so are you calling on Rob?
Come on up, come on.
Yeah, no, nothing except for, I can't say nothing.
Yeah.
The best of the best, right? He's here with us. But I wasn't ready to introduce him yet.
No.
But that's okay. Today, 1 o'clock, man of the hour, right? We always have it on Thursdays here live, right? Every Thursday at 1. Justin teaches on the Rock University, and today is going to be the Title Pro 247. Who signed up?
I haven't signed up, but I'd like to.
Okay. Who has not signed up? I'm assuming many of you haven't signed up yet. Okay, so we'll get you signed up. There is a token that you need to use. It's going to be Jocelyn and I, our first name, and ROC. But get with us one-on-one because we want to talk a little bit more to you personally about it. But today at 1, Justin's going to be joining, what is his name, Justin?
Jin Pak.
Jin Pak. So Jin Pak is with Black Knight, right? Who runs that out?
Yes. He knows it very, very well.
Okay.
What is it?
That's today at 1 on the Rock
What is?
Oh, it's our farming app. So many of you actually used to use the Title Pro 247. It's back now. So we're not using, what was our box? Thank you. Yes. So questions after the fact, please let us know. But definitely want to get you guys signed up and give you the token to get on.
So we're going to have that here at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
It's going to be Zoom,
And I
right?
think that was it for right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
Zoom,
Zoom.
always, every Thursday, so.
Every Thursday, 1 o'clock, right in this room, Zoom.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about some stats. Really, I sound like a broken record, don't I? Not a whole lot has changed in this past week or the past couple of months. You know, the active listings are about the same. The number of sales are about the same each week. The month's inventory hasn't changed in probably 2 months. Let's compare this just to last week's numbers. So active listings this week, 4652. Last week, 4655. That's pretty damn close. The solds last week was 2680. This week 2672, and you can see that the month's inventory hasn't changed. Median days on the market hasn't changed. So what does that mean to us as agents when we're out in the field?
Gotta work hard.
What is it?
You have to work harder.
We have to work harder, that we do. We're very much in a seller's market right now. We really are. So if you have any clients that are thinking about selling, this is a great time to sell. Now clearly these homeowners don't want to get rid of their 2 and 3% interest rate, so it's going to have to take somebody that's motivated to sell. You know, maybe they're a growing family or shrinking family or moving out of state or whatever. So, but you know, my job is to educate you so that you can go out and educate your buyers and sellers on what is happening in our marketplace. Now we provide this information to you via our newsletter, in our social media. You could just grab the stats and use it however you want. But that is this week's stats. All right. With that being said, this is why you're not here to hear me ramble on. We have Justin Taylor. Like I said, he just flew in from, literally, he just walked in about 30 minutes ago. And he's going to be teaching us all about Skyslope forms. Who even knows what Skyslope forms is? Anybody using it currently? So Skyslope forms is going to, or can take the place of transaction desk. It can take place of remind docs, which I hate. Some of you still use it though. And the good thing about Skyslope forms, it's all within Skyslope. So one platform. You don't have to go over here to create the transaction, then come back here and load it into Skyslope. It's all in the same platform. So with that being said, come on up, Justin.
How is everyone?
Great.
Wait, can you raise your hand? Who's used Skyslope form before? Very. This is awesome. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Wherever you all set up. Alright.
Eventually.
So Skyslope forms came out probably 2 years ago now. They tested it in Arizona. ROG was actually the first one to get their hands on this. We all remember Zip forms, right? Who misses Zip forms? A lot of agents. And they went to Transaction Desk. You guys have that here too, right? Who likes Transaction Desk? Sometimes. All right. It wasn't for me. I thought it looked very dated. It was clunky, hard to use, right? So when Skyslope Forms came out in Arizona, I was super excited. The first time after I used it, I was like, wow, this is easy, simple, and I can do it super quick. And it's all in one system. It's not like you're logging out of Skyslope or you're going into another portal or anything like that. Everything is done. So you can create your forms, send them to your clients. It auto-populates initials, dates, signatures right where they need to go, so the days of dragging and dropping are done. You can do templates like normal as well in there. And the other just biggest thing is it's all in one system. So you create your docs, you send them for signature through DigiSign, and then you upload them to your Skyslope checklist, all in one, right? We're never gonna leave the tab, so it'll be super cool. How do we get there? The same way we get to Skyslope, right? So we're gonna go into here. We'll cross our fingers for no technical issues. All right, so here we go. We're in Skyslope. We really wish this was our personal account, right? Okay, we'd be living large. And from here, at the top where you see apps, you're gonna notice Forms, DigiSign, and Breeze. We're gonna focus on Forms today, but that is where you would go to actually click in to get into your Skyslope forms. All of your legal forms, purchase contract, listing agreements, all of those advisory, do you guys have wire fraud here too? And all that stuff. All of that and all of your ROG specific forms have already been loaded in here. The latest forms will always be loaded in here from the association MLS. so it'll always be updated. So you just go in and click forms.
Justin, I have a question, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Some of us over here, we don't have the DigiSign on our drop down, we just have the forms and brief.
Do you have the DigiSign icon? Let me go back here.
Is this?
Do you have the digital signature icon here?
Okay.
No.
No?
No.
We might need to get with either help desk or compliance to see.
Okay.
Compliance isn't here right now, right? I saw
Yeah,
them,
they're
but
back there.
they're back there, yeah. So we'll have to get with them to see why you don't have DigiSign on there. That's all. Maybe the licensing didn't go through. So I'm gonna go to apps, forms. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Remember, we're never leaving this tab. We're always gonna be in the same system. So if you needed to go back to Skyslope, you're just gonna go up to your apps and toggle back and forth. Okay, same for your DigiSign, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna click into forms. It's gonna look something similar to this. If you haven't been in before, it's probably gonna ask you just to pair yourself with your NRDS number. Who knows their NRDS number or NERDS number? Right? Do you even know you have one?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right. So in Arizona, in our MLS, if you don't know where it's at, it's actually under our profile MLS. I'm not sure here, but you can always go to NAR to locate that if you need to.
And if it doesn't have, sorry.
You're good.
I'm gonna be the problem child in this class. If it doesn't have our association.
Yes, so
Is
if
that, did I miss?
it, can you click your name? Do you see your name? In the upper right corner? Sorry, this is kind of hard to see in that corner for you.
No, you're good. Yep.
Click on associations.
Yep.
And from here you can select your association. So you guys are probably LVR, right?
Yeah, I had an issue with that originally.
Yeah, it doesn't show up either the Greater Las Vegas or
LVR.
For you. Does it show up for everybody else, or who else
Could
is
you go
missing?
down?
That's been a problem in the past.
Has it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Is it there?
I jinxed myself, right?
Sorry.
No
Could you
typo.
check to see if it's there?
For this one here, let's see. Let's go down to L.
Go under G.
Okay, so no G.
G.
G. There.
Gotcha.
Oh, see,
I'll
not
take
there.
there.
Why not here?
Okay, so I'll get with Gwen.
Do they have it as Las Vegas realtors? No?
Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe Las Vegas for
Because
Atlanta.
yours does?
Yeah.
It's not
Does anybody have their association here in theirs? Let's start there. To see if it even exists.
Could you see if it's LVR? If you could go down there. No, that's not there.
Man, this is getting warm.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
See how easy this is?
It was
That's
under
why
Las
I
Vegas or?
It's not, yeah, I don't see it in there, which is crazy because, Mark, have you used this in your account?
I've used it, yeah, absolutely.
So let me go back here. Yeah, see it shows LVR. So we have the forms. So go there, so let's check that. Those that don't see it in there. Under files, if you're in this account, go ahead and click on browse libraries. Click all libraries and see if you see LVR.
So on the file, browse libraries.
Browse libraries, yep. You see LVR there? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They're there.
Okay, redeeming myself here. Did you guys want to check yours?
I'm going to chop Skyslope while you're doing your
Okay.
That's a quick solution.
Perfect. All right.
No. We
So
still
we're gonna
don't
go
have
back
the
and maybe this will just be a visual learning today, and those that don't have access yet, we will figure that out for sure. So this is the main screen. Remember we toggled back and forth. We went from Skyslope to Skyslope Forms.
But on the apps, not over here.
And from here, just like most websites or applications, this logo will always take you back to the home screen. So if you get to a screen you're not familiar with, you're like, I just need to go back, you just click that there. It's gonna take you back home, which is actually the files screen. Okay, so files in here is really your contract paperwork. All right, all your contract paperwork. Templates, you can have templates in here just like we could in all the other platforms as well. So if you're working with an investor doing multiple transactions or a buyer, right, you're having multiple items, you can create a specific template for them, or you can create just a buyer template, seller template, that kind of deal there, okay? It makes it a lot easier. There are company ones already in here. You guys shouldn't see other markets, I think because Mark and myself, we have like admin type accounts, so we get to see others in there, but you can create your custom templates. This is a new feature up here, Browse Libraries. We just clicked on it a couple minutes ago. This is so you can go in and just get forms without actually creating a file. Okay, that was an issue before. So say you just need one form and you're going to meet a client for wet signature, or just for some reason you just need a single form without creating a file. You can just go to Browse Libraries and take a look here, okay? Couple things with the Browse Libraries page. You can always search forms just by searching up here. Do note that sometimes in this industry we abbreviate things, and sometimes the abbreviations don't come up here. Like in Arizona we have the ABA, or we have that here too, the Affiliated Business Arrangement. We call it the ABA. If you search ABA, it's not going to come up, at least in Arizona. You have to actually spell out affiliated for it to pop up, okay? But you can always just come in here and search different forms, or you can break it down by library if you have multiple libraries, okay? And again, this will have your Realty One Group corporate forms as well, office specific forms. So from here, it's going to start in alphabetical order, so you can either just, scroll through here. Me, preferably, I just like to type in, let's say, what do you guys call your purchase contract here?
Or residential purchase.
Residential. So again, if I just type in residential purchase, you can start to go through and just see everything that comes up in there. And it would be this top one here, right?
No, go down, go down.
Down here.
Right there.
Yep. So you can just go through and add. Again, this is just if you want the single form by itself, okay? You can either download it, print it, view it, or just add it to the file if you're gonna create a file, all right? So I'm gonna go back to the main page here. So we talked about these. Help is if you want just more help, like a help desk or anything like that. Skyslope is very responsive. I think they're available 7 days a week via chat, so it's actually a great team to work with you if you're having issues. And then remember, apps is where you can toggle back and forth. If you click your name, you'll be able to see your user profile, so if you need to update any of your information, personal info, you can certainly do it there, emails, all that good stuff. Associations, if you're an agent in multiple areas or states, or with ROG, you can add multiple in there if you would like. And then your team, this is new, so if you needed to, you have a TC that you're working with or something like that, you can always give them access to that in there too.
I have a question.
Yes.
So a lot of times we create these forms with them not actually being a client, and let's say you put an offer on a house and it doesn't get accepted, but all that info is still created as a file. Is that correct?
In Skyslope forms, but not a checklist in Skyslope.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to
Good question. So the files that you're creating in here are strictly just forms. Think of this as you went to transaction desk.
Okay, thank you.
Right? It's a separate thing. Obviously, you don't want to go and create a checklist until you're under contract, you're fully executed done.
So if the forms you created transaction, I have all these forms in there, how do I have to manually put the buyer's names in there, or how do I add the parties in there?
Yep, so we're gonna go through and actually create one, and I'll show you adding that information in there. The other benefit to this too is most cases, whatever forms you create in here, it's really for a listing, okay? Because you don't have to rely on the other party yet, or the other agent. But once you have a listing in here and you go into Skyslope to create your checklist, it will automatically pull everything that you just created, everything that's been signed into that checklist. So again, you don't have to download or re-upload, okay? But we'll go through and actually create a file so you guys can see the step by step. A couple other things here. Of course, you can always search your files. So once you start having deals in here or just files that you've created, you can search by name or anything pertinent to it, customer name, all that stuff. You can sort by representation. So if you just want to see your buy side, sell side, all that stuff, you can always filter by that. We'll click on this in just a moment. Notice all files and archives. So there's no way to delete a file out of this system, okay? So the organization that I would recommend is all files are your active ones. Archives will be ones you never, you're done with, either closed or canceled or whatever, right? So it keeps it clean.
And how do you label that? How do you label which one's gonna be?
Good question. So, Mark, is this, well, I can always bring it back, you're good. So let's say this is our active one and it just closed, and now we want to archive it because we're going to keep this clean, okay? So you're just going to come over here to the 3 dots on the right, archive, and now it moved it over to the archive tab. So notice there's 0 here, 2 here now. I click on archives, I'll be able to see everything in the past that I've created, and that can kind of help you stay organized. Okay, just know that you can actually delete a file in Skyslope Forms. Okay?
Can you restore it if you accidentally archive it?
Yes. So if I go back like this one I just did for him, I can restore 3 dots, and it goes back into that main bucket there. Okay? And then of course it just gives you the file name, who you're representing, how many forms are in that file, and how many envelopes. Okay, envelopes are just like a package you're sending to a client to sign, DocuSign, all that stuff that we've been used to. You can also click the 3 dots here and rename or duplicate if you wanted to. Again, if you're working with a client over and over again, you just need to write a new file for something else, you can always duplicate it if you wanted to.
So you could create the name, the file name could be the client's name, or it could be the address, it
Yes.
doesn't have to have the number.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So how do we actually create the file? You click create new file. All right, and similar to Skyslope, it's very intuitive, it's very clean in the sense like it's easy to navigate and read. So it's gonna ask for a little bit of information. Today we're gonna click the seller because something you guys have here that I'm very jealous of that we don't have in Arizona is the fillable seller. We call them SPUDs in Arizona. It's the seller disclosures where they have to go through all those check boxes, right? That's made fillable now. So you can just do it through the system and your client can go through, and when they're signing all the docs, they can fill it up, each one, okay? So it should save them a lot of time. So I'm gonna do seller. It's gonna ask who the primary client is. So of course, first name, last name, and their email. If it is a company, trust, or entity, they're putting in an LLC or something like that, all they're gonna do, or you're gonna do, is select this box, put the entity name, who the representative is, okay, right, because the representative still has to sign, a company can't sign on behalf of the company, and their email. If it's just a normal transaction, no entity, their name, and if you have a spouse or somebody else on the contract, you can always add an additional one there, okay? For today, we're gonna keep it easy.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yes.
If it's under a trust and it's a trust name, in transaction desk, you still have to add the buyer as itself as a contact to have him sign.
Correct.
His name. How do you do that here?
So that's what it's, the entity name's going on this line, and then the buyer's name, whoever's the buyer representing that entity,
It's not
it's gonna be here. Yep.
So-
And then that's who's gonna actually be signing the docs.
Okay.
So if it's a trust, let's say it's the Stiegel Family Trust, the name would be Linda Stiegel, and then you put a comma in TTE because that's the trustee.
The trust.
And they're allowed to sign on the trust.
Correct.
So you could add that comma and the TTE after their names so that it fills that document like that throughout.
Mark, is that correct? I'm only broker.
So when the
I'm not licensed,
trustee, so when the trustee signs the document, they put the name, the last name, comma, TTE, so that it's filled out in the document with TTE, and that's how they have to sign it.
In there, yeah. Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just, yeah. So, I'm gonna uncheck this for now. And I'm just gonna put in right here. I'm gonna put it in, we'll just do this. I like to show you guys what your clients will see as well. So we'll see if we can pull that up as well. But of course, you're gonna have to put in, I had an agent one time say, well, do I put your email in or the client's email? Okay, so name in there, right? And again, if you're gonna have additional contact, you're gonna add that there. You can import MLS data. So the listing agent's information, license information, contact information, that will automatically get pulled over. Property address. A lot of times, we call APN number, parcel number, right? That'll get pulled over. Legal description, right? Sometimes that'll get pulled over with it. It's not always 100%. Some stuff it doesn't pull over. It just pulls over as much information as it actually can. All right? So does anybody have an MLS number they want to give me?
But this is, we're filling this out as a seller. Could we find the info using tax record.
It's,
Yeah.
Parcel number, yeah.
well, no, you can't do parcel number here. So if you're representing a buyer, you
Yeah.
can the MLS number.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's gonna populate here, but I just wanted to show you guys the population. But you're just gonna enter in the MLS number, it'll display that there, you're just gonna click it and it's gonna populate all those fields and it's gonna pull up for you. Okay? So somebody give me a property
2,
address.
3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Or that's MLS numbers.
Oh, that's it. I was like, that sounds like a long address.
2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Linda Street.
Is it coming soon?
No.
It's not coming soon? Okay, so you see it populated there, and it's gonna pull in the agent's information over as well once we get into the forms. Okay, so you can leverage that, or you can just do it manually.
So
if you
as a
want.
seller, how would we import the data?
You're probably not going to.
Okay.
You're probably just gonna enter in the property
Okay.
address. Because you're the listing agent, so
Right.
it's gonna need to know your information in it either way. But if you're representing a buyer, it's a great tool to pull in all that information.
Okay.
How do you want to name the file? Defaults to address, or you can do primary client, or you just click in here and you can put in a custom name if you want. From here, if you have any templates available or the brokerage ones that Quinn went in and created, you can add those as well. Again, they save a lot of time. I'm not going to add a template today because I want you guys to see how you can actually pull in forms into your file. Okay, but this is where you can do it there. Once you're done with that,
Just know that we've created templates for all the different transactions. For a buyer deal, for a listing, all the templates are already in there.
my ROG rocks, right? At the very bottom, you're going to click the Create Blue button. Okay, and here is where it asks you to add those forms. So for a listing, what's your form called for your listing agreement? Just listing agreement? Exclusive. I can spell.
There you go.
Is that correct?
It's
There you go.
Third one down.
There you go.
This here?
No, not that one.
No?
That's for land.
And
It's the one right under it.
There we go. All right. What's another one that's required for you guys?
Duty zone.
Duties.
Does it matter what order you input them in?
No, because you'll be able to reorder the forms. Yep, you'll be reordered. Which
Listing
one?
side, there you go.
This one.
Listing
Yep.
side.
Let's go with 2 more forms.
Residential disclosure form.
What is it?
Residential disclosure form.
And this is difficult. Disclosure. Beautiful, right? The reason why there's one for buyer and seller because the system needs to know who's signing where, right? Because it auto-populates those signature dates in initials.
And
So we
then
do
the
seller.
seller's
Seller's
real
disclosure.
disclosure,
Yep.
seller's real property disclosure.
Sellers. Real property disclosure form. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna add that. Alright, we're gonna stick with that. Okay, but you can keep going if you needed to add more or whatever else is required. Notice at the bottom you can view, so it shows we have 4 forms added. It's gonna tell you which ones are in there. If you accidentally added one that you need to delete it, you just click the little line with the circle around it. Otherwise, you're gonna click next, and it's gonna push you into the file. Okay?
So we always have to bring up that pop-up to go to next?
No.
No.
No, I was just showing you guys what,
Okay.
when you raise that up, you can see the different forms and then delete one if you wanted to. We have our file name at the top, defaults to the Forms tab. These are the 4 forms that we just added, okay? This tab is envelopes. Again, that's after you send the package. So we're gonna do an envelope today. Once you fill out all of your forms and you send it to your client, that's considered an envelope, right? Signed documents, once they get signed back, they will be displayed here. And then any additional file details that you want to add in, or who's involved in the transaction, all that good stuff will be displayed there. You're going to spend the majority of your time in this tab.
Okay.
All right, so we have 4 forms. We can always go back and add more, and it takes you right back to that same screen to where you start searching for others. You can upload documents as well. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, pre-qual or bill of something, right? Anything that isn't within that library, you can upload. Just know that if you upload things outside of the system, like a pre-qual or something like that, it does not know where to map those signatures and dates. So those are only going to be mapped for the forms that are on the platform. Okay, so if you upload anything on the form, you're going to have to drag and drop like normal. All right? And then you can always apply a template at this stage as well. So if you wanted to add one of the templates now, you could do that as well. You can select all, or if you need individually, the upper left corner, you have the little bubble, and then you will check blue. Down here, again, it'll tell you how many selected. You can delete those if you wanted to. You can print them, or you can download them. Again, who has clients that still do wet signatures? Some. There's always some. Okay. So again, you can still fill them out on the system and then print them out if you wanted to. All right. And then the upper right corner, you have the 3 dots. You can download or delete that single form from there. But we're going to select these all because we're going to send these for signature. Okay, we have the 4 selected. And now I'm going to hit the fill and send button in the bottom right corner. All right, and then we're pushed into this screen. This is where you can reorder them. That was a question. So over here on the left side, you can just reorder these up and down. I'm going to do the top, the purchase or listing agreement first.
Or duties owed first, because
Duties
it
owed
should be
first.
signed
That did
before
come
any other document.
That did come up last time, yes. So, duties owed first. And then the second one, I would do your purchase contract or listing agreement. And the reason being is those 2 forms have the most information on it, typically, and it will auto-populate the rest of the forms, like the name, address, dates, all that kind of stuff will populate to the rest of them. Okay, and I'm not going to actually fill these out today. I'll spare you guys the fun.
So once we fill out like our information, like the license number,
Yep.
from the point forward, every time we create that form, will it auto-populate our license number, or do we have to manually put it in every single time?
If you're going to add new forms into this file specifically, it'll auto-populate that in there since it's already been on another form.
Okay, good.
But if you go in and create a new file, unless you have a template set up and saved with all that information already in there, you'll have to re-enter it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why templates save you a ton of time.
Okay.
A ton of time. Okay, so from here, you just go through and you're going to fill these documents out just like you would normally. Everything's fillable in here.
Okay, go up. There's another question. On the duties owed, there's 2 options where they could sign. Keep going up.
Keep going.
Sorry. On duties owed. So see, may not. They don't have the initial block on that. How do we put an initial block somewhere where we want them to initial?
I am guessing that compliance decided to leave that option off maybe because of that, or because it should be on
You
there.
should give a.
Yeah.
But
So
could
when you
we
get to-
create an initial block once
Yes,
we
so when
send
we
it
get to
over?
the DigiSign stage, you can add in anything,
Okay,
any
thank you.
additional signature stuff. So I'll get with Quinn and see. There's probably a reason why they maybe let that off.
None of the initials on all the other docs are highlighted. So I think that probably happens once you send it to them, that's when it pops up the signatures and the initials.
Once you get to the
Correct.
DigiSign portion.
Yes, when you get to the DigiSign portion, yes.
Okay.
Those are
It
pre-populated.
wouldn't even show on here then.
Correct, yeah, once you get to the actual DigiSign portion.
DigiSign, okay,
sure.
so right now we're filling out the forms, we're not
Correct.
sending from, and the DigiSign is a second step where where you have all the initials and the signatures.
Correct,
Okay.
yes, yeah, so at this stage, you're just filling out the forms.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you can save this as a template if you wanted to, and you can save and exit, or otherwise we're going to prepare signature. Once you do that, it's gonna ask you to create the envelope. Okay, so maybe this is listing. Who's involved? Well, the seller is Justin Taylor there, right? So needs to sign. If there are multiple parties, you can have it set there. Once we get to the DigiSign stage, you can't have a signing order. I'll show you guys where you can do that. So if you want one party to sign first, and then once they sign, it goes to the other party, or you can have it go out at the same time, and whoever signs first signs. You, as the agent, do not need to do any of this. Receives a copy or needs to sign, unless you actually need to sign something. You will automatically receive a copy once it's fully executed and signed, okay? So I'm gonna click next, and it's going to push us into DigiSign. Remember, we haven't left this tab. We're still in the same system.
Right.
Alright, and if you've used DigiSign before, this looks familiar, or if you've used like a DocuSign or something, it's gonna look very similar to all the others. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit, because I'm sure they were there, right?
There you go.
So you just need to highlight one
Right.
and delete on your keyboard
Yeah.
which one you're not gonna do, okay? Or need to send. But the beauty of these already pre-populated where they need to go is gold, right? And so you don't have to go and spend time going through and dragging and dropping.
So where it says the signature is signature, but then where it says printed name, do we have to fill out the printed name, or does the
The
printed
system will
name-
automatically read it. Any spot where there should be a name, initial, or signature, date, anything like that will be pre-populated on native forms. Now, if you upload a form outside the system, you have to drag and drop.
Okay.
So you just go through, make sure everything looks good. Over here on the upper right or left, if there's multiple signers, you would see them. They're all color-coded. We have all of our options up here, which we will take a look at in a second. On the left-hand side, you see the documents that are included in this envelope. So if you wanted to navigate to those, you could. We see the recipients. There's just one currently, but if you needed to add someone at this stage, you're gonna click the 3 dots, add edit recipients, and then you can click new recipient. So for example, I'll just do this, Mary Smith, and then we got that in there. I'm gonna click save, and now we have 2 signers, and this is where you can go ahead and create that signing group if you wanted to. So if I click add signer group, I just drag down who is gonna sign second, or vice versa. Okay, so this would go to me first, and then once I sign, it'll go to Mary. And then if anyone just needs to receive a copy, you can put them in there, but you as an agent do not need to do that. You're gonna automatically get one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do Mary for this example, click save. Outgoing email, if you wanted to edit the subject line at this point or message, you could. Just click edit message, but it's gonna give you an opportunity to edit this when we actually click send, okay? But here, if you wanted to edit any of that, you absolutely could. Up here, right, everything is already pre-populated, but if you needed to add a signature, you're just gonna click it one time, and then wherever you need to line it up, you can. It defaults to this size. If for any reason you wanted to make it bigger, you certainly can. If you need to delete any of these, you have to select it first. You know it's selected because your initial's bouncing there, and then you're just gonna hit delete, and it removes it from there. Same with initials, name, date, time. Checkbox. If you needed to add a checkbox for any reason, again, most of these are gonna be selectable, but if you needed to, you're just gonna select, move it around where you need it to go, and then your client will have the option to select that box. Now, if there is a time where the box is gonna be checked no matter what, like there's not a decision that needs to be made, you can, on the left-hand side, if you scroll down, you have the option to check by default and read only. By far, our checkbox is the most missed item in signings. Like when we get into it, it'll say 18 out of 19 signed, and they're gonna call you and be like, I think I missed something, or it's not letting me move forward. A lot of times it's the checkbox. So go to read only. The other item to look out for is if you do text field for any reason. Obviously, you would fill this out in the previous stage where actually filling out your contract. Maybe it's another document you uploaded and you're adding a text field. If it is something that you do not want your client to be able to change, right? So if I come over here, I just type in whatever, okay? If it's something that you don't want your client to change, you're gonna click read only on the left side. It grays it out, and then they can see what's there, but they won't actually be able to change the verbiage that's in there. And the reason I like to tell you guys that, because if we're setting legal documents and we're putting something in there and you don't do that check or read only, they have the ability to go in and just change whatever they want to change.
And not change the verb.
And probably not good. Mark would not be happy from a broker perspective, okay? So just know you can always, on the checkbox and text field, you have the ability to check by default and read only on those. Again, to delete, you just select whatever you want to be deleted and hit the delete button.
And that's only applicable when you're in the signing section, not in the creating the document section.
Correct, because in the previous stage, we can actually type into this.
Right.
Yep. It's just typically a document you're uploading outside of the system. Usually that happens.
Okay.
Okay. Over here, you have just a few more a strike through. So again, if you needed to strike through anything, you could. But once you're good with everything here and everything's good to go, again, you can save and exit, or you hit send, and this is where you can edit that subject line. Okay, subject line, email address, or email message in there. So if I do, yeah, you could probably put the address in there. I can't remember what it was, but we're gonna go with that.
Linda Street.
Right. And then once you go with that, you're gonna scroll down and click send for signatures. And that's it.
Okay, I have a question. Sometimes we as agents have to sign a form, and I know on AuthentiSign, and I may be doing it wrong, but then I literally have to add me as a participant, send it to me, open up my email, sign it, then send it back. Are you able, as an agent, to sign it right there at the platform?
Yes. So if I put myself in here to sign something, like in Arizona, we have to sign lead-based payment disclosures as an agent.
Right.
We would sign. It's going to say you sent like yourself a document to sign. Do you want to sign now? You say yes, and you can sign it right then and there, and you're done.
Perfect.
And then it's out to your client.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you will be able to sign your portion right away.
Just
Yes.
so during that form, does it give you any space where you can add additional information, like terms and conditions or something to the contract?
On your guys' purchase contract or lease agreement, is there additional terms and conditions section? So yeah, in that section is where it'll be fillable. That's where you can actually type in whatever you want it to type in. Yes, absolutely. Everything will be fully fillable in that stage. So I'm gonna click done. Our client got the email. I got the email as well. You get a really great job and some confetti, which is always nice. And then it's just doing this because we haven't been through this part, but it is going to default to your envelopes now. Remember we were in forms, so now it says this is the envelope that was sent. It was sent 1 minute ago. If you have a client that can't find it or it's just buried in their email now, you can always resend up here. You can download the envelopes if you wanted to. Probably wouldn't recommend it until it's fully executed. You and your client will both be able to download this one big PDF. Who loves getting just one big PDF as an agent, right? Or you can download individuals, okay? It'll download a zip file, so you and your client both have that option. There's no certificate yet because nobody signed. You can always view the history, so if you have a client that says, I just can't find it, and you're like, well, you've looked at it 4 times, so there's a disconnect somewhere. But you can go in and see all the activity for that as well. It's funny because it's true. Like it's happened before, right? It's just like when new rules or laws come out, you're like, you know, it was created because something happened. And then you can always print for any reason you wanted to, or if no one's signed yet, you can always cancel that envelope as well. So if something got incorrect or something, you can go in and cancel that and void it out. Mark, do you have email on this?
What?
Email on this? I want to show them or I can plug in my computer.
You need me to pull up my email?
Yeah, because I can forward this to you. Do you remember your password? The only reason I'm having you do is because I don't remember my password. Or I can plug in my laptop and I can just do mine. So I think it's important for you guys to see what your clients see on their end as well, so you can see their experience. Everyone look away.
I have to remember it.
I'll forward this to you.
Did I spell it right?
Who's Android? Who else has an Android in here? Really? No one? Mark's the leader? Is everyone else iPhone?
Smart girl. Smart girl right there.
Okay, all right. I'm just curious. I'm always just curious. Who has an AOL account?
Angel.
I get AOL
I
emails.
genuinely, how's that wrong? Can we believe they're still around?
I still don't have Gmail.
Yeah. When I was in retail, it was probably the most common email that I always get at our stores. It was phenomenal. All right. So this was sent to your client. So now we're taking our agent hat off, and now we're looking at it as if your client would. So you click in. It's gonna look like this. Say get started. Any message you put in there would be right there. You're gonna click get started. They're going to, of course, read these dozens of pages and click I agree. And then to get started, they're just going to click the start button up here. Okay. Once they click that, it's going to take them to the first spot. And once they click the first spot, is where it's going to ask them to just choose their signature. At this stage, they can type in a middle name or anything if they missed it, anything like that. If they were overachievers, they could come in here and try to sign like that. Most people just choose whichever one, right?
Most people just click the top one.
Yep, you just want to get through it. What's fun about this is the fillable, it's 93, usually it's not 93, but that's probably that property disclosure and the seller disclosure in there. So they're just going to go through and start clicking all that. It's just going to keep taking them. And this is what I'm saying. So sometimes like it'll say 92 out of 93 and this will still be grayed out. And then they call us and like, I don't know which one I missed. Unfortunately, it won't take them to the spot that was missed. So we have to go through. So you're just going to go through and do all of these. We're probably not going to do all 93, but let's scroll down to the disclosure. Okay, just let me know if I miss it.
No, keep going.
Or when it's there.
Yeah, that's just the state mandated disclosure.
Important stuff.
There, there.
We're getting there?
Yes. There.
Okay. So all of this will be fillable for them. So they don't have to manually do that and then typically, I mean, what they like manually fill it out and then get it back to you, typically. So if they want to fill it electronically, they certainly can, right?
So
And
how
just
do they
select
do
one.
that? Like, if you go up a little bit, they have to pick owner occupied or other. How do we create? Oh.
Yes, it's already there. These have already been pre-mapped.
Okay.
So you don't have to pre-map these. They've already pre-mapped.
So they would pick it out when they're
gonna choose.
signing.
Yeah,
Just like what they normally would.
Right.
Yeah, we can't do that.
We can't
Like
do
the client does it. And notice, obviously, you can't select both, right? So it's either yes or no. Whichever one they select, it'll gray out the other options.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, so it's not like you're getting a form back and now they have yes and no checked on, right? So whichever one they check, it'll gray out the rest. Okay, so this should help them save a lot more time.
Yeah.
Of course, you're
Compared
gonna
to
go
transaction desks where they would have to print it out, fill it out manually, and then scan. Yeah, this makes it so much easier.
way more streamlined. Way more streamlined. So then they're gonna go through and fill all these out. We're not gonna do 93, I'll spare you guys that. But once that all goes through, they're gonna click finish signing. It's gonna say congratulations. A box pops up immediately and says congratulations. And then they can download one PDF together or those individual ones, okay? As soon as they sign, you get an email notification saying, hey, they finished signing. And then it's gonna be available, if I go back into forms, this, as soon as they're done signing and they finish, this will go to complete, and then you'll be able to have that certificate, and you can then download from here as well. But you will get an email where you can download directly from the email as well, between those two options. Okay, so fairly easy for your clients on their end as well. And again, we stayed all in the same platform here. Okay, we never left. If I wanted to go back and click Skyslope, it's just going to take me right back there.
Okay, so how do we transfer the signed documents to created file?
Before you go to that, can you go back to that once you create it? How do you fill in the forms before you put it for the signature? I missed that part.
So when we're in here, and you're gonna select after, right, we created our file, we added the forms that we needed to send, and you're gonna select all the forms that you're gonna fill out and send, and then you're gonna click fill and send, and it's gonna push you into this screen, and this is where you can fill everything out. This is where you actually fill out your contract.
Fill and send.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do that, and I do not get the boxes or the item that I need to check, like have them check. I can't mark it.
So
Oh,
the seller disclosure will not be fillable for you because we cannot fill that out.
Right.
It becomes fillable when you send it for signature. However, if you're going to send your purchase contract and this duty is allowed, this is all fillable for you.
No, I think she's talking about, when you are in the files and you click on them, she doesn't have that option.
When you, so like you click on one of these, here I'm visual, I gotta see it. Who's a visual learner? Right.
So, I am here.
Yes.
I got this.
Sometimes I
Yep, so you're gonna go back.
You know, I
And you
always
guys
think
have to
outside
select the
box.
upper left corner of the
So I ask too many
yep.
questions.
So select all the forms you want to do, and then you're gonna do fill and send, and that's where you're gonna fill it out.
When I did that,
And then now this will all be fillable.
see, I can't.
This isn't the correct, this isn't yours, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's why.
That's another brokerage.
Okay.
Yep, but it'll all be fillable.
Okay, thank you.
So when you guys fill and send, you're gonna select each form that you're actually going to
Okay.
wanna complete.
I have another question.
Yeah.
If, let's say, a document was already downloaded and saved and signed and everything, and you realize it's a mistake on it, is there any way you can go back and, write out and, clean it up before you actually send it to the other side? Or?
Yeah, so what I would do is if you sent any documents, I would just go back into your file, select the document that needed to be corrected, and do fill and send again, and just go through that quick process real quick. It's already gonna be completed. Because you filled these out previously, you just have to correct something. So maybe you missed a unit number or something like that. You go back into that one document, correct what needs to be corrected, and then you can just prepare signature for that one document, or you can send them all together so you have a whole clean new option there, and then you would just prepare for signature and send.
Great, thank you.
In there. Good question.
Was there anybody else that didn't have to sign and give me their email? They're working on it right now, so.
Did anybody else not have DigiSign in their Skyslope? When you do this drop down, up in apps, did anybody not have DigiSign there? Because she's chatting with them right now and they can fix it for you.
Oh, we were just looking at it over here. Oh, okay. Perfect.
Where do I go again?
Everyone else
I
does?
guess I'll go.
Over.
Okay, so are you gonna show us once, let's say we have an accepted listing agreement, and now
Yes.
we have to create our
Fine, checklist, yeah.
transaction file.
So once, for listings, this is beautiful. For purchase files, because we are sending them to another party and they outside of the system and they use whatever system they use, you won't be able to pull in that fully executed file through here,
Okay.
or documents, but I'm gonna show you a trick how you can do it beautifully, okay? But for listings, you're gonna go back in to Skyslope, right? I'm just gonna toggle back there. And then we're gonna do create listing, maybe. You guys just have, you just manage listings, is that what you're showing? Okay.
Yes.
So there's slight differences between the states. And then create listing, okay? And when you do that, typically it asks for the state, or I'm sorry, the property address, okay?
Right.
Notice that there's this option for forms. So
Oh.
instead of doing address lookup, you're gonna do forms. And remember, we just sent these for signature. Now we didn't fully complete, I didn't sign all of those, so we're not gonna fully execute ones, but you're gonna select the file and you're gonna continue like normal. You're gonna go through and, or I'm just gonna choose someone random. Or Mark, I guess. Maybe. There we go. Alright, so agent. Which options should we be listing? Do you guys have these on here? Does it automatically select?
Southwest.
Okay. And then what type of listing is it? We're just going to do residential traditional, which is down here. Sure. We're going to be optimistic. We're going to just choose today's date and just. Okay. Residential. We'll go with single family. That's not the year I was born, by the way. We're gonna say personal referral. Okay, just like what you'd go through here, you'd add all your information.
Right.
I'm just trying to get to the checklist.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna go through this like normal, create my listing. And then now it's gonna pull over all those documents that were fully executed. So under the documents tab now, it's not gonna auto assign them. And if I actually went and signed all 93 of those, right, if they were fully executed, because right now it doesn't think that it's been signed, okay? But now it's gonna drop all those documents that were signed here, and then from there you can check them. Let's get out of this. You can check them and then assign. Okay, so you don't have to download those documents and then re-upload them to your checklist. You just do Skyslope forms and you go through that same process. It will dump them in here and then you just select the box and assign it where it needs to go on the checklist. Does that make sense?
No.
Yes.
Let's do it this way, since I already have Mark's email
Yeah,
open.
checklist.
Because I want you guys to actually see what it looks like. I'm not going to include the disclosure because
Just
it's
do
too
it,
many.
one form.
One form, yep. Duties of, let's do that. All right, so we're going through the process again. Fill and send. We're going to complete all this, right? We're going to go through. Next. Remember, everything's already placed where it should go. Okay, we're just zooming through this. I am going to change this so I don't have to. Mark, do you have Mark at Realty One Group or do the whole thing?
Mark.hotel.
I spell that right?
You can even sign it on my phone.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Save. Okay, so we're good there. Save. You're gonna send. If you want to do a subject line in message, absolutely. That's been sent. I'm going up to Mark's email, our client's email. Documents to sign. They're gonna go through and sign.
Okay.
You're gonna choose their signature. I hope it pulls it over because I've already created a checklist, so we're gonna see. Finish signing. See, this is where you can download the documents or review and sign. Download. It's not giving me the option to separate them at this stage. Usually, there's only one.
There's only one.
Oh, there's a. Only training one of the day. Alright, and then you're good there. So then we can go back to our DigiSign or Skyslope forms. We can see now it's been completed,
Okay.
right? And now if I go back into Skyslope and I do manage listings, don't let me forget to tell Quinn to delete these once they're good. Alright, and then we're gonna go through this lovely process again. Okay, so we're gonna click this. Gonna go through here, Southwest, residential traditional. There's already one in there. Well, let me do. We're gonna just do that. Sure. Optimism. Dates. Be a short listing agreement. Residential. Where did it come from? We're selling. It's good. You're gonna use wrong title though. And then you're gonna scroll down, create my listing. We're gonna cross our fingers.
Okay, then we go to documents.
Documents. And it's gonna dump that fully executed document.
Okay.
So anything that you guys send and it's fully executed will get dumped in here. Obviously, you're gonna have a lot more forms, right? And then all you're gonna do is select that form and assign to the appropriate spot. So this was duties, right? So I click duties owed, click assign, and now when I go to my checklist, it's already been there. Okay.
Oh, so the signing is taking the document and sending it over to the checklist.
How much easier is that than using transactions?
Wow.
So you're not downloading the forms, re-uploading the checklist, you can push it over. Now here's the other tip.
Oh, I just had a question. So,
Yes.
I know there's
there's a lot of people on teams, okay, which means that their transactions all go under the team account and not necessarily, so we can keep them separate in DigiSign and not necessarily create a transaction, or do we have to create a transaction?
You don't have to create a checklist or a transaction to send documents. And in Skyslope Forms, there is a Teams available now, so each team is set up differently, but you can give them access to certain things so that they can go in and do it as well. But it's set, it can be set, yes, yes.
Is there any, do you know, is there any way to lock it so they can't create a transaction if they're using DigiSign for signings, but like the team doesn't want them to be able to create the transaction?
In their own Skyslope?
Correct.
Right.
There's not gonna be a way to block them from creating a transaction in Skyslope,
Okay.
because each agent is licensed one. So it's yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
one of the challenges.
Okay.
So you can see it's pending there. Now, remember what I said? Let's pretend we were working with a buyer, okay? We wrote the contract, got it all signed by a buyer, we sent it to the seller and the listing agent. They sign, they send it back to us. That's no longer in Forms, right? Because they're using whatever, transaction or something else. However, when you guys get forms back that are fully executed from another party, forward it to this unique email address, okay?
Oh.
Each Skyslope file has a unique email address tied to it.
I was wondering what that was.
A unique email. So if I go and I forward, let's say you forwarded me the email with the fully executed docs, instead of downloading those, I'm gonna forward that email to this email address. Skyslope is going to extract all of those attachments within seconds. Has to be an attachment, cannot be in the body of an email. Does not have to be PDF, it could be photos, it could be PNG, JPEG, anything, that's an attachment.
Wow.
It's going to extract all of those documents and dump them in your documents tab, almost instantaneously.
But then it's up to us to assign it to the
Then you need to
account.
assign it, yes.
Okay. So
Then
like
you
if
need to
they
assign it.
have their own company disclosure, they send it to us, it's signed, we send it to that email, it'll go into the file, but then we need to assign it to the.
If it's required on the checklist, yes, then you can assign it there, absolutely. And you guys remember your documents tab, think of it as like an iCloud or a Google Drive, like this is the drive of storage for Skyslope. So if you need to dump photos in there, just so you don't have to like, the walkthrough or a bill of sale or something that's not requiring the checklist, but you want to be organized and have everything in one place. Because if the file closes and 9 months later you're going through your emails and trying to search for something, if everything's in there, you just come back here to that file and you can find it there.
Okay.
But this email address is one of the most underutilized tools in this platform.
Yes.
Like it's a game changer.
I never knew what it was for.
It's a game changer. So each file you create in here will have a unique email address for that. So then Skyslope knows where to dump those documents.
Okay, I have a question for you. On the duties owed, there's an option where they say may not. And I just saw when you sent it through the signature platform, it was still, both of them were available. How do we get rid of one so that the recipient's only, initialing the correct one?
So you're gonna select one. It's gonna bounce that little arrow. Remember, you know it's selected because that little arrow is bouncing next to it, and you're gonna hit delete on your keyboard and it deletes.
And that we do before we send it for
Correct.
signature. Okay.
Yep, once you're in the DigiSign stage, anything that, I think that's the only one in there, because in Arizona we have something similar on our purchase agreement that we gotta delete one of them.
Right.
So yeah, you're gonna select whichever one that isn't pertinent, and you're gonna hit delete, and it's gone.
Okay.
Justin, we have a question over here.
Yes?
Could one property have two of the email addresses? So like if the seller, they go in and do this first, and you go in to do that, could it be two email addresses?
What do you, like, can this be two?
Right, on the same property.
So there's only gonna be one email address per file.
So let's,
Because
Customer doesn't have that.
Oh, no? I received an email once on a property, and the seller side already had in the list of email addresses on the email that there was already.
Gotcha, now I got what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah. Were they with ROG too?
No,
They were with another, but a lot of brokerages use Skyslope.
Okay.
So,
So that's
they will have their own unique one,
okay.
and you will have your own unique one.
Yeah, so they can.
Because notice all these numbers, like the numbers after, right? So 6130, and then there's a 1. So to me, this is the first one for like this actual file.
So if we're like in the same office and the listing agent creates a file and me as the buyer's agent, they'll still be
Two different emails.
separate. Okay.
Yep. So it knows each file will be unique to itself. Yes. Yep. The other thing I do sometimes is I'll just put this in my CC line. So it's already in our communication between the listing agent. So anything that it just automatically gets extracted when they reply.
That's so smart.
I'm telling you, I'm all about
Yeah,
making
it really
it
is.
easy. Yeah. So just pay more attention to that and it'll save time.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you just put that in your CC line and you're good to go.
So when you send the email to that email address with the attachments, how do you know that it got to it? Like, is there a place to check the inbox on this?
It's gonna dump it into the documents tab.
Oh.
So so if I, here, I'll show you guys. Let's just put it to tab. So I'm gonna go in and copy this email address. I'm gonna find, let's see if this will have the, Mark, I don't wanna go through all your emails. Do you have something that has attachments that we can?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or I can send you something with an attachment.
There you go.
Let me do that. Before we start getting into stuff. All right, so Mark. File.
Yeah.
So we should probably like practice and create transactions before we even send it off to a client.
So I would in Skyslope forms because that's not necessarily tracked by compliance.
Okay.
Every time, which is why I told Mark that I need to tell Quinn to delete those 2 files I just created, because now they think it's a real, right? They're gonna understand once they go through and look at it. But now you're just adding more to their queue.
Right.
So just let them know if you are gonna do that. But in Skyslope forms, you can do multiple.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. So definitely practice for sure.
Is there someone we can call if we're stuck?
Skyslope has really, really good customer service.
I mean, yeah, she's been chatting with them.
Yeah.
And I think they're available 7 days a week, I'm pretty sure.
24/7.
24/7, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So I'm gonna send this to Mark.
And was there anybody else that had the issue of not having the board in theirs, because we have that answer as
The
well.
what?
The LVR in
Oh,
their association.
anyone not have their association in there or see that LVR?
I haven't seen it. Okay, so if you go, do you mind, sorry, and I can.
Yeah, you're good.
So if you go into browse all associations from your profile, it should already be added.
Just waiting for this attachment to come through. There we go. Okay, so the other agent sends you the executed docs or wherever it's coming from, right? It's an attachment. Remember, it cannot be in the body of the email, and you're just going to click forward, and you're gonna paste in that unique email address. Okay. I'm gonna send, and then we're gonna come back here, and typically we have to refresh. But if I go to documents, it's not there yet, so let's give it a second. Let me go out. Sometimes you have to go out and back. Manage listings. Hopefully this is chronological order. Of course it's not. Linda.
Very done, 6130.
This one here.
Haram.
Alright, there's 2.
One of them, I think it's the second one you did.
Not this one.
Because it said, this is already created.
So if I go to the documents, so now you can see, so Mark obviously has in his email signature, like the ROG in there as well, but notice this is the attachment that was attached, so it's already in there, so then you just click this and you sign. So you don't need to actually download the attachments, just forward it to that email, it's already in there and you just have to sign. Okay?
Now I see that says Google, do you have to have a Google account?
Nope, that's just the name of the attachment.
Okay.
It's just something for this afternoon.
I don't know if you mentioned already and I missed it. How do I get to the templates?
Yes, in forms. So if we go back up to our apps, go into forms. Templates are going to be up here, upper left. You can create a new one for yourself. The company has several in there for you already. For each transaction type, you have a template in there, and then you can create one yourself as well.
So there's templates for all different companies in there for some reason. So if you scroll down, all the way to the bottom, I believe it was. So these are you see where it says Nevada and GVS, so these are our templates.
Okay.
Only use those.
So you have your vacant land, your lease, your vacant list, residential purchase, not that one. This one here, traditional listing, traditional buy. Okay, and the forms are already added in there. So if I click into it, I'm gonna be able to see everything that would be required for that transaction.
Okay, so let's say we don't need the counter offer initially. Do we remove it or do we?
Well, if I click duplicate and edit, it's gonna ask me what do I want to name. I'm sorry, don't do that.
Name it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you're gonna go through, once you're going into sign it, so let me go back here. And if I create, I don't want that, go back to the main screen. When you create new file, this is where at the bottom, it will populate those. So if I do buyer, it's gonna populate those templates. So if I scroll back down, like you were saying, and I click traditional buy, and I just gotta fill this part out so it'll let me move forward. California shirt. Why not? Right, you do all that. Down here, you're gonna choose your template like we chose there. I click create. And now all of those forms are already on here. If you don't need one of them, you're gonna click them individually, or if there's multiple that you don't need for that transaction, you can click multiple and click delete, and it removes them.
Okay, could you pull up one form? I want to see how it auto-populated.
Sure.
Oh, that's the longest form. Go to a
Oh,
different
perfect.
one. That's like 26 pages.
Oops. Okay, so it'll be fully fillable. And then once you get to the DigiSign stage is where all the initials, signatures, and dates will populate.
Okay.
Okay, so you fill first, you create your file, the forms that you need in there, whether you use a template or you don't, and then you fill out the forms, goes into DigiSign, everything's good, you send it to your client for signature, it's a listing, you can go right into your checklist to create, right? It'll pull over those executed. If it's for a buy, then you can leverage that email address to pull in those extracted docs.
Now, if you use the template, but then you modify it and you want to make that a new template.
So at the bottom here, you're gonna see, yes, save as template. Okay. So then if you like that better and it works better for you, you can save a template at that stage.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Or whatever's in there.
Do we have the option to delete the templates that are already preloaded? Because it looks a little too busy.
It's very busy, and it's been an ongoing battle to try to figure out, and it's weird because it's only here. I don't see them in Arizona, other markets. Yeah. So I'll get with Quinn and the Skyslope team to get that cleaned up. I don't know why, like, there's ROG franchises that are in other states that are showing up.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So I'll continue to work on that and see, because I agree with you. That's why I like the archive and the file, because you can keep it clean, and it's confusing. So I'll keep working with them to get that taken care of. Any other questions?
No, this is
Do we
great.
feel like it's a good system? Like we would use it? Easy to use, intuitive? Okay.
There's a lot of similar steps.
A lot of similar steps. Yeah.
But you just
a lot of time saving in this that's already been done, right? You have your templates in there, it auto-populates and maps those signatures and everything, and then you can easily create your Skyslope file. Time saver, huge. Yeah. Any questions? Concerns?
Maybe when I do my first transaction.
Oh, yeah.
I might call you then.
That's it?
When I do my first transaction, can I call you then?
You can call, I might not want to. But Skyslope really is incredible, and help desk is huge too. They're well trained on it as well. They can help you, but you can always reach out to us as well. We're happy to help.
No, I'm sure it looks like it's gonna save us a lot of time.
Yeah,
from
absolutely
saving,
will.
downloading.
I never logged into transaction desk again.
And I, from what I understand, GL there is going to get rid of AuthentiSign eventually. and keep remind.
No,
And we all know what, no?
Don't talk to the lead there a few weeks ago, and he says it looks like remind is gonna go away.
Oh.
For keeping transaction
I
desk,
thought
but
they-
you know what, doesn't matter.
Right, exactly.
We have our
Yeah.
own system. We have our own system.
We're just eliminating a step, basically, because we were using Skyslope anyway, so we
So might
just
as well.
eliminated a
Exactly.
step.
Yeah, and again, we've been in one tap the entire time filling this out, right? So, it's definitely a change. Thank you guys so much.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Or, well,